The biggest mistake that I made when I was raising money for the last film we made and projects we're working on now is actually that I didn't lean into the emotional part enough. So when I made the first film, we raised money, and I did do that more, I would say. And that one actually raised more money. I believe we ended up raising 116. And the second time around, we raised around 86, I believe. So less, even though business-wise, I had a way better pitch. I'm the sales agent too and distributor. I have way more backing me up than the first time I did it. Yet we raised less. And for me, part of it was that the story wasn't good on the pitch. Like, I didn't have the creative and the emotion there completely. So there wasn't enough to reel people in emotionally. It was actually too business focused. Even though most filmmakers do the opposite problem. They have no business backing it up, no marketing plan, no distribution plan. And I did have that very detailed. But I also forgot the biggest component, which is emotion, and people buy emotionally, especially with film, which is, it's not a safe investment, you know, everyone knows that. So it's not something you're gonna invest in when you're like, oh, I want to make 10, 20%. You're not gonna invest in film for that. There's so many more better investments than that. You're gonna invest in film because yes, you want to make your money back. Maybe it can even be a huge movie. Yes, you kind of want to take that gamble, but you also want to invest in the actual story. And if you're investing in the story and this is something you want to see on screen and you believe in, so that is important. And I think that's the biggest mistake I made on that campaign, is not having it be emotional enough, not enough about why we're passionate about this story particularly, these characters, why, like, all of that, the whole backstory. And I think now we're about to start another campaign and hope to do way better than that. I hope to, just this single campaign, I hope to raise more than 200K. So please follow along for that. I think that'll be really cool to see, and I'll try to update videos as I go along. But meanwhile, just, you know, sign up for my newsletter, gregbeckers.com, and I kind of keep people updated there, and sometimes write articles on how we're doing it, and so you guys can learn as well. But I think this next one, I'm definitely going to lean into the story and why now, why this is important, why this world, because it's a tennis world, all that stuff, and why we're the perfect people to tell this story, which is easy because we're actually tennis players and I lived that my whole life. But anyway, more detailed than that. So I'm going to have all of that in there, that it really emotionally draws you in more and aesthetically draws you in. And that's important in filmmaking. And then I'm going to back it up with all my business stuff that I had before, which was, you know, obviously the detailed marketing plan, distribution plan, all of that, so that it's clear that I take this very seriously as a business as well, not just some passion project. It's a passion plus a business. It's both. And I think, you know, if you guys can learn from me, don't make the same mistake I have made in that way. Make sure you got both of them in there. In my opinion, lead with the emotion, lead with what draws you in. That's really important, but back it up with all this business stuff and detailed business stuff. I have other videos talking about that, so please look at those, but definitely do that. It's super important. And I think filmmakers usually do the opposite of what I did that time. They usually are heavy on the creative, none of the business stuff. So do both, you know, like I always say, filmmaking is 50% creative, 50% business. And I think every filmmaker needs to be responsible for being involved in both. Unless you really have a partner that's just equally invested as you and is like your 100% there all the time type of partner, then great, then that's great. Most people don't have that. But if you do, then obviously you can split it. But in my eyes, all filmmakers should be somewhat involved, even with the marketing. I think they're so creative. You guys could come up with such creative marketing campaigns and do so much better than some of these companies are doing. So it's only in your best interest. So like, remember that. And then when you're raising money, make sure you watch my other video on this as well, but also that you do both of them equally well, but lead with emotion. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll see you guys next week.